Alright, game against the Sharks. As with tradition, we got a C opening face-off. Let's see how we started off. A little bump back. I like it. So that looks like our third David carrying it in. I think the good thing we can see is Thomas is usually a pretty conservative guy as a forward, and he covers for our third David until they come back, so good to see. I think right here is here. Let's adjust. Let's make a quick pointing out of Justin. So he's the center. Once we see Carrie-Anne getting kind of possession of it, you should pretty much immediately gearing up to get ready to receive it right up the center. So you're in the right spot, really. I like to say roughly in this zone, right? You do want to get kind of fairly close to Carrie-Anne, and I always kind of like to say is you're almost touching that blue paint and then curling up for that really short pass. And then I think we would also probably want to see Thomas hustling out to that wing side position. And really, you see how Justin turned around as if he's defending, and really that's not what you want to do. So, you know, let's actually rewind and kind of break it down in a little bit more detail. So it's in the corner. We see Carrie-Anne is getting possession, right? It's pretty clear. So at this point, really, as Justin as center, I'm pretty sure you're center, right? Yeah, is you're almost going to be like touching that crease and curling up in this manner, rather than, you see how you turned left there. You're not like, this is not really the time to get into defensive position. This is the time to get ready to break out. So that's the thing. And then at that point, like, you should be probably cruising like this. You'll just say Carrie-Anne, Carrie-Anne, Carrie-Anne. She does a little short pass up to you, and then from there, this is where you're like, you can either skate it up or you dish it off Thomas or David. Right? You're just going to be, you're really commanding the play there. So that's a quick thing there. That pass was a little bit risky. That's also kind of like adding on to what the importance of that middle outlet as a center is, so that we don't risk any pizzas, right? No passes through like this across the zone. Okay, so enough of that. Gets up. It's dangerous, risky, but Dave's hustling, but their goalie clears it. No icing. Okay. So Justin goes back to gather it and dishes it off to David number 3, and then goes for the change. Now, if you're gonna go for the change like that, okay, so let's curl it. Let's rewind it back. So you dish it off to David Eng. So okay, for the remainder of this review, I'll say refer them to Eng, No, and Lu. So once you pass that off, we want to see you start coming up, like on a normal situation, right? Ready for that outlet, bing, bing, normal situation, right? Now, if you're going to hold it behind the net and then go for the change like this, what I'd rather see is, so you get that puck back here, is you almost want to wave Carrie-Anne or Eng down and have them pick up the puck, and then you just go for the change and let whoever you're swapping with come back down to reset, if that makes sense. rather than passing it off and then kind of slowly skating off, because it's just harder to break out if they're on top of the ball. So that's kind of one comment there, and then we go for the change. So let's stop the clip here. It's going to be basically a new shift from here on. All right, let's start right here. We got Mike with the puck on the half wall, and Janice is over here on that right hand side. Now, whenever we see something like this, back is turned to the zone, like so they're facing the boards, we usually want to think of some things. We want to help them out. And what is the best spot to help them out? I've said typically is going to be anywhere along those boards. So this basically this whole zone. So now we can see Mike is in this area. So from there you can kind of deduce that we don't want to be standing next to him. So the next best spot is likely around this zone. So one of the things I like to say is, rather than staying here, what you would want to do, Janice, is come all the way behind the net, just continue straight, and kind of stand in this zone, ready to help him out. So let's continue. So Mike was able to get that puck off to Dave. Good chance. And here you go. Boom. This is exactly where we want to help each other out. So Mike is getting good, like a lot of pressure for checking pressure. Looks like that's Steve. And he's got an option up to Athena. And Dave's actually he's in a good spot. So we've said cut that ice in half. Rather than over here, we typically want to be, let's cut that ice in half, more so on this opposite side. And then one person in the support position, and we've kind of said before, this is prime location, but usually it's going to be well defended. And what's the next best spot? I love that magic spot where you can see completely open ice and people are going to leave you open, and that's going to form a really nice triangular formation. So Michael is down in that corner, good support option. And from here, again, you can see how, Janice, you're really well covered, right? These two players are really close to you. Any puck that's going to come to you, probably going to get poked off. So I like to say, start to work your way over here. It's a really good spot. You can think of that circle. So if you draw that quarter of that circle in that middle, really good spot, my favorite spot. And it's just kind of be like, I expect a pass right here, boom. Again, you can see how open really this spot is, and it's going to give you that extra time to fire off a puck. So they're working. Here we go. We can actually see Dave sneaking down to this magic spot, while these two are able to work off of each other. But yeah, those are some comments there. I think this one is a good comment for Dave. We see red tape carrying the puck. They're fairly beginner, and the pace gets slowed down a lot, right? And one of the things for Dave is he wants to focus on who are the next intermediate threats, and it's probably going to be this player right here. He's nice and close, and I think for Dave, it's just kind of important that yes, this player is slow, but try to maintain that gap control with the next threat, which is this player. And one of the things I noticed is you see how we back up way out. Not necessarily a terrible thing, but you can kind of see, like, let's say this player does pass it off to this player, then you really don't have that gap to work with, so keep it tight is I would say is the better way to go. And yeah, we were able to get the puck out. I thought this was kind of funny. So Athena's skating up, making the moves, but then boom, wait, hold on. We rewind this a little bit and pause. Is that looking a little sketchy on the offside? I think so. Got lucky there. Okay. And they get it out. But we got some more. Let's rewind it again. Who's putting on these banana peels on the ice? Oh! That was an incidental contact. Both people too busy looking at the puck, and then you just kind of lose your surroundings. Yeah, always be, yeah. Do a couple shoulder checks, because otherwise sometimes like that happens. It's all good though. Gotta show this one. Dave's coming in. Does a hard stop. Oh, who put that banana peel there? Well, surprisingly, the last like 10 minutes or 8 minutes hasn't been anything noteworthy. All run and gun, back and forth. Now here's the first kind of, I think, mistake from Michael. Is so there's this 2-on-2 situation, 2-on-1 now. The pass couldn't quite get to Dave, and it's going in the corner. And the mistake is you guys are both deep, and we know there's going to be a third trailer coming in on offense. So that's whether that's Janice, whether that's Justin, someone's coming in as that third man in, and there's going to be coming high. And the expectation, well, I would expect, is they're probably going to occupy somewhere in the zone, whether it's high slot, magic spot, whatever, right? And we can see pucks going in the corner, and Dave's going to have to dig that out, and likely also going to face pressure, right? So he's going to need to do some work to defend it. And I think the mistake is, rather than, we got too deep, rather than continuing on that path to support Dave for Michael, where we say, I say behind the net in that zone, or rather, let's do this the whole concept again. Any puck along the boards, we want to say, so Dave's going to be in this zone with his back turned. We want to help him out in one of zone 1. Let's call this A, or perhaps on that half wall, we'll call this B. In this case, Michael's closer to A, so he should be going to A. And right there, let's have a pause, and we can see exactly how Justin's coming in as that third man, occupying that high slot on that magic spot. But right now, Dave's putting pressure, so he doesn't have any option where he can pass it down to continue that cycle. We got to form that triangle, and we can say we're doubling up, right? We got 2 in the same spot, and really what should have happened is Michael should have been down here. And that puck battle right there, boom. Let's say you were right here, stripped off right there, easy peasy. So that would say that was a mistake, and a turnover that probably could have been quickly turned back over on our side. All right, we've talked about this for Greenhorns, and in general, I like to say, wingers, we want to come down low, at least to a bare minimum. This red line, bare minimum. But continuing down to even that hash marks before turning up is typically, I would say, the way to go. Now when you get to here, you do a shoulder check, look at what's your options. Then you can say, okay, nobody's here. Maybe we start skating up. Maybe there's somebody there. There's a pathway coming up. That's when you start to kind of gauge the ice. However, if you stay up high like this, and we'll watch Michael, right? He's staying nice and high. Usually, what does that mean? A defense, opposite the opponent's defense. They're probably going to be here, right? Standing right next to you, breathing down your neck. And when you see something like that, all they need to do is jump around you, easy interception. And this is what's going to happen. Boom, easy interception. And that all starts with being too high, right? We want to be down here, at least starting that off, right? And so what happens here? Big chance, big save. Now defensively, let's talk about this additionally. Athena's jumping the gun a little bit, right? Left defense shouldn't be coming up with the race with our left wing as well. And so when we have this turnover, what's our coverage, right? What's our coverage? So it looks like, I think that's Dave, should be covering Jess over here, Kathy's co-worker Jess. And I don't mind particularly where Justin is. I do and I don't, and I'll kind of explain why. He is staying in between the puck and the net, but he is kind of parking in front of Cliff and screening him. What I think is the way to go is he needs to put, really the positioning is kind of be like this. You need to apply a bit pressure. You're going to go up to him and put pressure on 75, but also in a way where you can also get back and put pressure on this player. So it's going to be almost playing that 2-on-1 situation, but in a more compressed manner. So I would say you probably want to get up to here, a little bit of pressure, and kind of in that gap control where you can have a little bit of stick pressure on this player. But also, if that pass goes through, you can start to put pressure number 3 quickly, rather than being in front of Cliff, screening him a little bit. But, you know, once 3 was going, the good thing is you didn't dive in front and start screening Cliff right away. So that's good. And then in a good position to clear that out. I think we've also talked about this with our wingers. The first thing right here, Michael should be pointing at that board. So you say boards, boards, little bounce pass, skate right into it. Now, one of the mistakes I would say with all our wingers in general, and boom, he keeps skating and his back's turned. So he has no idea, right? He's expecting, where am I? You should be telling Justin, where do you want it? Where do you want it? So it's kind of being flip-flopping. First is kind of pointing towards the boards, but just skating up. And then he does that flip-flop where, oh, maybe I want it on this side on my backhand, right? So it's our job as wingers to direct traffic. We got to say, where do you want it? And eventually a bounce pass missed. That looks like an icing, so going for a line change here. I think this comment's for Cliff, and this is just totally up to him, whether he wants to have some excitement or not. But if there's ever a situation where the puck's rolling like this, I am if I'm on the ice as a skater, I'm totally happy, Cliff, if you just bumped it into the corner like this, and we can just skate into it and dig it out, rather than, so you decide to hold for the face-off. Now that kind of, I'd be happy with that if we're like the shift is late and we're all tired, but I think I'm totally happy also if you just pushed it out behind the net. We can just pick it up. Totally up to you. Yeah, and I only say this just so to avoid defensive face-offs, which can be kind of 50-50 in itself. So, yeah, just some thoughts there. All right, face-off positioning for Janice. So I guess we never really talked about it. For standard face-off draws, we actually want our wingers outside here, and our defense up close, exactly where Janice is. And let's talk about why. So defensively, how does everyone kind of tag up? So with the winger, you are wanting to defend this player, and by being outside, you do not need to battle with this player, because typically speaking, any face-offs, this winger, all these wingers are probably going in a fashion where they're coming into the face-off dot and fighting for pucks and digging it up. And so you want to put yourself in a position where it's just a straight path. So wingers are going to go straight to the D. Centers on center. Defense on winger. And defense on winger. Now we want this backside defense to be down there, just in case we have a face-off win, and they come straight to the net, right? So let's boil this down. Let's take a watch what happens here. So they get it, boom, clean face-off win, D to D, and they get a shot on it. Now, let's first focus on Janice and watch how she skates up there. So there's a little bit of a delay, and that's kind of fine. Not the beginner skater, the speed's not quite there, but there is also some hesitation. There's that face-off win. Oh, not quite sure. Do I need to go up? So one of the things as wingers is you want to completely ignore what the result of that face-off draw is, and we want to come straight to that defense almost immediately. And the same with Thomas too. So we can see face-off win. Thomas is not moving. He needs to get up to that D. Janice needs to get up on that D. And so a little bit of delay there, and they get a shot off. And also a mistake for Ang is he's a D. He sees that that puck goes up to the defense. However, we can see how by doing that, this player is left all alone. And so defensively, we're not covering who we're supposed to be. So let's recap. What should the coverage be for everyone? Center on center. Center on center. Defense on winger. Defense on winger. So let's count how many people have missed coverage. Looks like 1, 2, 3, right? Nobody's covering, well, I mean, Thomas is covering 18, but he shouldn't be. He should be covering number 25. Their center is behind Mike. Not good. Their winger is behind our defense. Not good. So, things to spot out there, and also face-off positioning. Alright, so pretty easy zone entry. A lot of it is really that gap control and also the numbers, but this one's fine. So let's kind of continue. A little shot deflection out in the corner. So Thomas gets the puck, throws it out. Not typically what we want to see. It's a bit of a turnover because he is that left winger, and if he's going to throw it out there, it's really going to be passing. It's like almost a lefty to a left winger, but Thomas is the left winger, so a little bit of a problem there. One of the things I would prefer is just a little reset back to our defense and maybe up to our centerman, but that doesn't happen, so they keep it in the zone. Shot across, so defensive coverage again. Wingers on defense. Wingers on defense. Center on center. Wingers on defense. Defense on winger. So a little bit of loosey-goosey coverage going on right here. Again, still loosey-goosey coverage. Right, still loosey-goosey going on here. And so a little bit of delay. And 83. Who's that? Who's that supposed to be? Mike. And so, and they get a shot in where the most dangerous spot. Fortunately, so 1-0 goal. All right, so a missed pass. Dave gets it. Doesn't see an option. D to D. I like it. Yeah, I think Janice, just be careful of not cruising too much to the middle. Sometimes it's okay. Kind of hard to say the nuances. The best thing I can say is it depends when you can do it, but just be careful, because you can see how we're in that trajectory of joining in the middle, and that's really what we want to avoid. We want to create a lot of space across the ice. So more towards the boards, I would always typically be a fan of. But we can break down nuances in the future, or if I ever see it. Okay, this. Okay, that was starting to get pretty funny. Nothing of note happens after that, but you know what? That was pretty funny. Athena just coming in, looks at the pass, doesn't see it, coming down, and boom, tight turn back. Yeah. Oh goodness, that was pretty funny. Yeah, I think one of the things we may want to also touch upon is, again, really nobody, like, when puck is on a certain side, we got to think about bringing people over, and also remember those support spots, right? Call this A, B, and C. Alright, this is one of the things I did notice for so right now is good. You can actually just notice how we'll say in the past Justin is that crease camper, but as the puck moves, shifts over from left to right, he opens up and opts for position B, where it just said A, B, and C. And so that's really in a support position, with Dave occupying somewhere in this zone, forming that nice triangle. Okay, so that's good. And pass doesn't go through. Now, as the puck moves from right to left, we want to think about, especially for Dave, is how can you help him, Justin, as the puck is shifting over, right? So puck shifts from right to left, and one of the things we want to think about is always 2 on the support positions. So again, we're drawing that semicircle, 2 in the support position. We can pick A, B, or C. So pick one of them. One person wants to go in one of these spots, another person can go in one of these spots. Just pick one of them, never in the same spot, but so 2 of the 3, with the third one coming somewhere here. And so if we rewind it a little bit, what a smooth transition will probably be Justin coming over here, and then Dave, you just slot up over here, and Thomas swings over to here, right? We're still forming that triangle, we're just translating it over. So instead of here, we just shift it over. So there's a lot of lines there, I know, but so what do we see instead? So Dave, you're parking there, and same with Thomas, and so passes are a little bit tougher, a little bit of crease camping here rather than supporting each other. And so what that really results in is you're encouraging forced passes, forced shots, when it's really sometimes might not be the best decision, right? And positioning like that is just you're really just encouraging suboptimal play, because then your teammates they're running out of options, right? If you're just camping in front of the crease, everyone's there, they say, well, all I can do is shoot it here, and try to maybe hope for a rebound rather than passing it around. So just gotta think about things like that, move those triangles around and pass it around. All right, so puck comes out, and this is a really good interception, right? We kept it in the zone, and then terrible. That's got to be one of the worst turnovers ever. And okay, so what can we do better? Number one, so one of the options that Eng could do is just skate down with it. So not skate down with it, but what you can do is just actually skate down as Justin's coming up, and he can drop it back. That's an option, but that is we would say aggressive option. And having Dave stay up like this is not necessarily wrong. I would say it's just more conservative, which is fine. The big mistake is on I would say Justin's part. Is he's coming up, feeling that he's not having any options, and he decides to throw it along the blue line. And what makes this worse is he's skating up in a kind of relatively slower fashion, and what that means is we're seeing he should be expecting skating pressure coming up this way, and he passes it along the blue line. Like, that's just like a recipe for like a breakaway, right? So that's why I say it's terrible. If you ever find yourself in a situation like this, either you skate it out of the zone for a reset, or you need to fucking throw it down the boards. Like, no questions about it. No funny business games along the blue line. And so, that's exactly what happens. So we got a bit of a uh-oh situation coming up. So 2 defense, 4 offense. Now I'm going to say maybe a little bit of lack of hustle from Thomas and Justin. So let's continue watching. So Athena gets beat. Dave puts pressure, and boom, big shot chance on net. Now our defense perhaps left a little bit to dry. Thomas is coming in a bit slow, and where's our center? Where is our center? Oh, did Justin go for a change? Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we're ever gonna go for a change like, you gotta hustle to the bench, right? If you're tired, better go quickly, because the 4-on-2, that's kind of leaving us to dry. Now, I've also said in the past, if you're like at the end, like let's say it's 2 minutes is coming up on the end of the shift, and there's an odd man rush coming the other way. At this level, I say just go for the change. So you're not. There is sometimes in a situation where we're coming back defense. You've stayed kind of long, and then now you have to defend, and sometimes you get hemmed in. Another 2 minutes, so it becomes 3, 4, 5 minutes. So for the sake of balancing ice time, going for the change ice sink is the way to go, just so everyone gets on the ice equally. But situations like this, we can't just cruise off. Gotta go quick, bing, bing, bing. So yeah, this was a tough one defensively. All right, so we got another goal against coming up in the corner. Let's kind of break it down. Let's see what happens here. Ooh, what happened? So Neo shoots it. Was it tipped? Doesn't seem like it. It bounced off something. Carry on? It looked like it bounced. I gotta I gotta figure this out. This looks so weird. It looked like a clean shot. Like Cliff could probably, I think he tracked it, but based on his reaction, it looked like it was going one direction, and it changed. Yeah. I think it was off Carrie-Ann's leg. I'm gonna watch this replay until I figure this out. I don't think anything. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Defensively, nothing too crazy. Let's kind of rewatch again. Got beat. Either that or David Eng tipped it in. Can't tell. But yeah, I don't think it was just unlucky. Looked like a little change in direction. Actually, this one we've talked about plenty of times in the past. Now, I would say Justin is of the three forwards is doing the best, but even then, I'm not a big fan of his positioning. Now, let's kind of walk through one by one, but we can kind of outline already. This is called the I'm asking for trouble position, which is the forward standing by the blue line. And why is that called the I'm asking for trouble position? Is you're really asking for trouble. You get that puck, oh my goodness, I'm getting poked off. You have asked for trouble and you have gotten a big turnover. Just like that. So simple, right? And what have we talked about in the past? So number one, we get the pass back to the D. And now it looks like Dave is it Dave? I can't tell. Yeah, it's Dave. Doing well. They keep their depth. They can do D to D. But for Justin, we always say let's skate towards that puck carrier. Even get like nice and close. You can even do like a nice route like this. The key thing is you want to get nice and close so that you can always be facing up the ice and working through that. And the same thing could be wingers. You do not want to stand by the blue line. So whether that's skating back towards the puck carrier in some capacity so that you can turn around and start skating up with speed rather than doing a stationary pivot is really going to be that game-changing factor. And so this is that FAFO, fuck around, find out. So you decide to, well, stand by the blue line just because it's easy. Well, you're going to find out it's not going to work out for you. Right, so pretty clear demonstration of the asking for trouble position. So we haven't had much actions, been kind of just run and gun. Okay, that is tripping. I'm surprised Neo got away with that. That's pretty funny. So Justin's skating up. Here comes Neo with his tinted visor. Gets the puck, and then that follow through catches Justin's leg. Got the banana peels. Oh, fucking Neo, so classic. So big chance right here for Thomas in that high slot. Now, yeah, when it's on your side, Janice, you do a pretty good job going to those support positions. I think the struggle is really when the puck is on the opposite side, and like we can see right here as example, this is we got that formation of position A, position C, and again here's that B spot, which is good. We just want to pick one of those three as a support. We want to fill out two of them, and the third one, and our third forward really wants to fill out this area. So if you just shift over here, Janice, it's going to be game changing, I guarantee you. Really want to shift yourself over, and then here we can see puck gets over. Like, you do a good job on, I would say, on the right hand side. You do get to those support positions, and then boom, right there we still basis of that nice triangle. But I do see, like right here, just focus on Janice, how not sure, right, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, really kind of caught yourself not sure where to go, right? And I like to say to everyone, if you don't know where to go, pick the support position. What's that support position? Again, we'll just draw that little edge of the boards, pick A, B, and C, right? 1, 2, 3. If you don't know where to go, always pick one of those spots. So just try not to get caught, you know, doing a little dance in the middle because you're not sure where to go. If you don't know where to go, pick a support position. I'll always tell that to everyone. If you don't know where to go, pick a support position. As with tradition, we gotta capture all the banana peels. Who is it? David number 3. We gotta replay it one more time. And then Neo comes in with a shot chance, hits the mask, so we get the whistle. So another example of wingers staying too far up. Earlier the game is Michael, this time it is Thomas. We're just way too high up. We're touching the blue line almost. And I say we gotta be at least that red line. Lower, better. And why is that? It's just the defense is gonna be standing next to you. More than likely, all they can see is, oh, someone's next to me. What's stopping me from going in to pick up that puck? That's exactly what happens. What is stopping him from going in to picking that puck up? Nothing. So that's what he does. It was a pretty good chance. Hey, and it's also, you know what? Let's watch it first, and we'll break it down. Big chance right there. Right. Let's do a real rewind. We have talked about in the past the importance for D to D passing is number one, what? Width. So this shark is making one mistake, in my opinion, is this width is not there. And so, boom. And now mistake number 2 is, I've always said, if you don't have the puck, you need to be slightly behind the D. So lateral, we want to be at least equal or slightly behind. And so his mistake is he is in front. And so when he does that little pass, bink, Justin punishes them with a huge opportunity right there. So the basis of D to D passing has been broken. There's a lot of rules being broken there, quote unquote rules, concepts, I guess you can say, and really that's how you get punished. So Dave Lou finally says, I'm tired of the shenanigans. I'm just gonna start skating it up myself. Banana peel, dangles through, turns around. And it writes itself. 5-hole Dave strikes one more time. So here's another defensive draw. Much better positioning, Janice. This is the correct alignment. So I don't know if there was a discussion midway, but again, see how there's a pause there? We haven't, like, the face-off got one and we haven't started skating yet, right? So you got to be started a little bit earlier. So Janice should be about here right now, and same with Thomas, up to 25 to Steve. And so it's just a slight delay and the coverage is not there. And then same thing with Thomas, right? He's in the spot where lefty should be. Like, he's doing the role of what Carrie Ann should be doing. And so, right, we have less outlet passes too. It should be like center to wingers. And so that kind of messes up the flow a little bit there. Alright, so I give Justin a little bit of flack last week for skating straight towards the defender, and this week he does a way better job defending the puck, gets a good pass to David Eng, and results in a goal, right? So we've said change it a little bit, make that defender move, don't make their job easy, right? So looks like Neo, he has to stick with him, put a little bit of pressure, and he's doing a good job taking it wide, right? He's bringing those defenders towards him, but doing a good job protecting that puck, and finds that seam pass. So big upgrade from last week. All right, this is defensive disaster right here, I have to say. Let's pause right here. Who should be defending number 3? Who should be defending backdoor? Who should be defending net front? And thus, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Right, that's like 3 shots right there on Cliff, left all alone on Lonely Island. And then, yeah, you see how, you know, when you don't cover who you're supposed to be covering, everyone is left like scrambling, and so, right, the coverage becomes loosey-goosey. So let's continue. Same with the center. We gotta stay disciplined. If we have a red tape that's slow, you don't worry about it. Just kind of stick with your responsibilities. Don't ever feel like you have to scramble out of the way to do it, unless they're really like skating circles and coming to a dangerous spot. Actually, I wanted to highlight this one. So I called it the sneaky stick strat, right? Where you see how, let's actually rewind a little bit. Pay attention to Dave right here. So he's kind of covering net front, and he doesn't necessarily start pushing or bodying this player in front. He's sneaking up behind him, just positioning his stick, ready to, when that pass comes, boom, stick lift, stick lift, stick lift, right? He can't do shit. Number 3 can't do shit. Now, we did leave number 13 a little bit left alone. Hard to say who is responsible for covering. I would say probably this was Justin. And let's actually rewind a little bit, see what's happening here, even before this. So yeah, the only person who's not covering is Athena, and I think, you know, the thought process with Justin, it makes sense. He's following this player, fair enough. I think at this point it should have been Athena tagging up with this player and then Justin covering up the back door, or, you know, vice versa. I'd say the center is the more flexible of the defenders, but you know, it's kind of fine. They're lost in coverage. You are shadowing this player, so it's fine. It's just one person left alone in 13, so Jess was able to get a chance. But I think the highlight was really Dave. I'm a huge fan of, you know, just hiding. You're just hiding behind them, when the pass comes, stick lift, tie lift, like you don't need to do anything crazy. Just be that, just a nuisance. All you're doing is stick lifting, right? It's not unnecessarily rough. You're not shoving them out. You don't need to do anything extra special. It's just making life hard for them, and that's fair defense. Now I thought this was funny. Dave gets pressured, loses the puck there, but then banana peel. And somehow I thought you blocked it, but it looked like you banana peeled, and then because your leg forms like a little triangle, the puck still kind of sneaks underneath your legs, and then Cliff was able to cover it. So that was pretty funny. All right, last minute 20. Let's just play it all with unpaused. So that's pretty much a pizza right there. Shot on net. Let's skip to the next face-off. Remember, same situation. Face-off, loss. We need to get those wingers up. And okay, hold on. This is a really weird face-off setup. Athena needs to be here. Thomas needs to be here. Thomas needs to go straight up. Athena needs to go up, pair up with number 16. Why? We could talked about it, so that Thomas does not need to skate around this player. If he's here, this is easy pickings, right? And so zero, like no coverage. Oh my gosh. Okay. Right? So Thomas is doing a little bit of puck chasing right now. And really, what does that open up? Always these passes to this player. There's just so many. So a little bit of puck chasing. Now 83 has it. Here comes a shot. You're able to block it, and we're out of the zone. But, we're just giving them that extra chances, just simply because we're not covering who we need to cover. Let's keep watching what happens here. Janice is able to keep it in. Not bad. Icing, right? Has to be. No icing. Okay. All right. Off the glass. Off the glass, back in. 15 seconds left. Clear it? Question mark. Yep. No need to be too aggressive, especially our D-man. 2-2 game. Tie game against the Sharks.